Good morning, Year 4. Our maths lesson today, we are using number lines to 10,000, moving through our different styles of questions to get to looking at unmarked number lines for diamond. So our place value word wall, we have some new vocabulary. We have number line, interval and multiple. And your anchor task, what are the missing numbers and what are the intervals on the number line? Pause the video and have a go. Okay, so we're moving up in 20s, so it's 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180 and 200. So, looking at our number lines then, what number does each arrow point to? So remember our whole number line, find the value of the whole number line, which is 10,000. So we know that each interval, because there are 10 intervals and 10,000 divided by 10 is 1,000. So each interval is worth 1,000. So now we've done this, we can work out what A, B, C, D and E are. So A is 2,000, B 3,000, C 5,000, D 7,000 and E is 9,000. Another question type then, what increments does this number line go up in? So this time we don't have two numbers that are together. So we're going to have to, again, use our trick of finding out the value of an interval. So this value is 60. We know there are two intervals in this mini number line, this part of the number line. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. So now we can fill in our other gap because we know 60 add 30 is 90. Okay, so remembering that we are counting in multiples. So for this one, 0, 100 and 200, we are moving up in hundreds. So we will continue in our counting in hundreds to have 300, 400, 500, 600 and 700 as our missing numbers. Okay, identify the numbers in the middle of these number lines. So can you please have a go at this independently? You can draw them in your book if you wish, or you can just write the answers in and we will go through them afterwards. Right then, so your answer should have been 8,000, 4,555 and 4,700. Well done if you got those correct. So for bronze, you are just adding in the numbers that are missing on our number lines, counting in different multiples in ascending order. For silver then, we are using our skills to find intervals, but sometimes our numbers won't be quite at each point on our interval. So we need to use a bit of estimation. So looking at this, our whole number line is worth 400. So each interval is going to be worth 40. So we're counting up in our 40s. So once we have done that, we can then work out what each number would be worth. So A is landing on an interval. So if I continue to count up in my 40s, I can see that it lands on 6,320. However, B isn't on an interval. So 360, 6,400. So I can see that B is halfway between 6,360 and 6,400. And using my knowledge, I know that halfway between those numbers is 6,380 because the difference is 40 and halfway would be 20. So 6,360 add 20 is 6,380. Okay, so you could use this skill to estimate where C and D are because all of your intervals you are continuing to count up in 40s, and then you can estimate around where these numbers would be in between your two intervals. Okay, and that's a similar style of working out for your other kind of question type. So it's quite simple with this to work out what B is because B falls onto an interval. Okay, so you could easily identify B as being 6,340 when you work out that the whole number line is worth 200, so each interval is worth 20, and you'd count on to get to B. Okay, but then you need to use your estimating skills for C and for A to work out which number is represented by them. Okay, so there are your silver questions. Gold then, some friends are describing a number on a number line. The number is more than 7,950. The number is less than 7,925. Who is correct? Explain your reasoning. Okay, so our whole number line is worth 200. So halfway through our number line would be 7,900. Okay, and then if we have a look at this distance again, halfway would be 7,950. So Yasmin says the number's more than 7,950. Freddie says it's less than 7,925. So we can clearly see that Yasmin is correct. Okay, so we have almost placed in our own intervals to work out the answer to this question. And then we will go on to explain why Yasmin is correct. So talking about where your arrow is on the line. Okay, Jade has drawn this number line but has forgotten to include the endpoint. She knows each interval represents a multiple of 10. She also knows that 2,100 fits on the line but not 2,250. What could the endpoint of the number line be? So we can't count in tens because then 2,250 would be on our number line, but a multiple of 10 we could count in our 20s, but we couldn't because 2,100 will still fit. So let's check. 2,220, 2,240, 2,060, 2,080, 2,090 and 2,100. So that would fit because we have 2,100 on our number line, but 2,250 would not be included. Oh, I've made a mistake there. I've just spotted that I suddenly decided to count in tens, not 20s. Miss Cook's having a nightmare today with her maths. Okay then, so my number does fit, but 2,250 wouldn't. And our endpoint would be 2,120. So your goal questions are here to get on with independently. If you complete those, you have platinum and diamond.